So my fiance has 3 kids, ages tween to teen, from his former marriage, while I have 2, ages tween to young teen, from my former marriage. I quit my job to start focusing on getting my degree. He's become the breadwinner, although I still contribute with my savings. I also do 80% of childcare and chores. Long story short, he wanted me and my kids to attend Thanksgiving with his family, who are located across the country, and we were supposed to go yesterday, ahead of time to get a rental place. So he booked our tickets and everything, but later, before the flight, I found out that he, his kids, and I were in first class, while my 2 kids were in economy. I was stunned. He acted like it was no big deal and told us it's just a few hours and the kids could just hang in there for a little while. I asked how he could think this was acceptable, and he got mad and said he's the one paying for tickets, then we go by his rules. I immediately turned around, took the kids, and made my way out of the airport. He started following us, screaming at me to return, but I refused and told him I no longer felt like spending Thanksgiving with his folks after this. My youngest cried because she never flew without me. He went with his kids and the kids and I are home. However, he has not stopped calling, trying to criticize me, and even had his mum text that I needed to get over myself and stop teaching my kids to be spoiled and entitled. She said that the fact I was willing to miss Thanksgiving with the family over something so trivial shows my real character, personality and mindset, or lack thereof. I have not replied, but I feel horrible. Am I the idiot? Should I have just let it slide and just gone? In case I wasn't clear, the kids and I left our family in hometown so we could celebrate with his family in his hometown. My kids weren't too excited leaving their grandparents for a week or so. This is just insane, but at least he was very clear in his actions. Your kids are second-rate compared to his own. Listen to what his actions tell you and do your kids a favor. Find a new fiancé. The fact that his mother agrees with him means nothing except that she's just as insane. Now we know where he got it from. Not the idiot at all. Thank you for protecting your kids. They'll never forget it. Wow, he is a jerk. His kids in first class, your kids in economy? That's a bad sign for the future. So then his response is to berate you and future mother-in-law, calling your kids spoiled and entitled? Even worse, it wouldn't have ended here. I'd be done with that relationship too. He obviously doesn't think your kids deserve to be treated equally to his kids. How often does he exclude your children from group activities? What else does he do to make them feel second class? And why are you allowing this? Maybe use this time to have a real think about the man you'll be marrying and his attitude towards your children. I would personally use this time to pack my stuff and be out of the house before he gets back. Agree. OP, please get another job ASAP. Find a new place to live. Pack up your kids and get as far away from this idiot as possible. There is nothing remotely okay with his behavior or attitude toward your children. The fact that he waited until you'd moved in and became financially dependent upon him before showing his true colors with regard to your children speaks volumes. My girlfriend and I have been together for about 3 years, and she met my daughter when she was a mid-teen. My daughter is a year older now and has a boyfriend who usually comes over. I've met the kid and I've known him since he was like 9, so I don't mind at all. I let them go into the room and shut the door. I trust my daughter and her boyfriend. If I had a reason or I felt something fishy going on, then I'll address it. But other than that, you'd be surprised how much just a little privacy helps a kid. Anyways, my daughter and her boyfriend came over as usual. However, the issue is my girlfriend's issue with the door being closed. When he was over, she constantly went into the room like she was trying to catch them in the act. She sat on their bed and clearly tried to converse with them, but you could tell it was just to be there with them. She would go in and purposely not shut the door on her way out, or she would try and find some reason to usher them out of the room. I guess she also went to my daughter and told her that it's not okay to have doors closed in the house, especially with a boy, and not to do it again because she's a child and we should know what she's doing in there. Apparently she's done this 4 times and my daughter finally told me about it. I talked to her and said that I'm fine with it, they aren't going to drop pants, they're cuddling like normal teenagers, and I don't appreciate you having that kind of discussion with my kid without my knowledge, and please be aware when she's stepping out of bounds. She said that when she's here it makes her uncomfortable and she should have just as much say as I do because 1, my daughter will never take her seriously, 2, she feels uncomfortable with that, and if she feels uncomfortable, it should be changed. And 3, no kid should be left with a guy unattended, and to not be aware of what my kid is doing is neglectful and I'll pay the price when she's pregnant. I said, 1. Her reasoning seems like some sort of power play to show her authority which my daughter nor I ever said was okay. 2. I'm sorry she feels uncomfortable, but that gives her no right to make my kid uncomfortable, and these are the boundaries I made with my child. And 3. If I thought my kid would be irresponsible with the freedom I choose to give, I wouldn't give it, and she's not given her or me any reason to believe she's reckless with herself or others. We went back and forth with her, saying that I was letting her make bad decisions and that since I won't be a normal parent, she would watch her as she saw fit. I said that if she continues to undermine my authority as her parent, she needs to leave, as she won't make my kid feel like she has no privacy and won't undermine me as her parent. Well, she left. I've talked about this to a few people, and while they agree she was wrong, they say kicking her out was wrong of me. Not the idiot. Your girlfriend has known your daughter for just about, 1 year? And girlfriend thinks it's okay that she should have authority over your daughter rather than form a bond with her? It's one thing if your daughter is making bad decisions and messing up her life. Even then, how your girlfriend is going about this crosses so many boundaries. If your girlfriend can't respect the boundaries you've set with the trust you've put in your daughter, this relationship isn't salvageable. You've been dating for 3 years and aren't engaged or anything. Cut your losses, OP. I'm sorry. If she feels uncomfortable, it should be changed. Absolutely mental. This lady has issues. You were right to stand your ground and correct on kicking her out, in my opinion. She wouldn't have gotten the message without such measures. Heck, chances are she still hasn't got it, but whatever. Take care, my dude. Exactly, damn crazy mental issues. I couldn't ever imagine saying something like that to a person I'm dating. Not her home, not her child. I could vaguely understand if she were living with you permanently, but she's not. If she had an issue, she should have come to you first, instead of assuming she had the right to act in loco parentis. Also, this kind of attitude results in kids being secretive and hiding things. That is when problems are more likely to arise. You are the idiot, and it's adorable that you think all your daughter and her boyfriend is doing is cuddling behind closed doors. I do agree with your girlfriend that allowing your teen daughter to be behind closed doors with this boy might not be the best decision. So genuinely consider if her concerns have merit. But obviously you know your child better than strangers on the internet. If you're wrong, you'll learn the hard way. My parents divorced when I was 7 as my dad had an affair. My mom has even admitted she didn't love him and the affair hurt her pride more than anything else. They were also heavily pressured to marry by their parents, which makes sense. I'm not condoning what my dad did, but it was pretty clear the marriage was for show. Anyway, my dad married his affair partner, Emma, and she was the best stepmom a kid could ask for. She always tried to make me feel like her own. My mom married Owen a few years later, and he really didn't give a crap about me. That being said, Owen clearly loves my mom and lavishes her with attention, so she has emotional and financial support. Also, if he needed to do something for me, like say she was sick and I needed a ride, he would. He just never engaged with me. As a result, I preferred my dad's house. My mom didn't make a fuss when I began spending all my time there. She would take me on some weekends to do fun stuff, but she wasn't that into the day-to-day stuff. I don't hate her, and we have an okay relationship, but I prefer my dad and Emma. I'm currently getting married. We'll call her Kate. Kate has a civil but shallow relationship with my mom, and a great relationship with Emma. Emma has been helping her with a lot of the wedding planning, though my mom is actually a wedding planner, so that might irritate her a bit. Well, recently, Kate contacted my mom to talk to her about her mother of the groom dress. We want our parents to match our aesthetic. Kate asked my mom to wear yellow, and my mom didn't seem to have a problem at first, but did make a snide comment about how it isn't fair that the bride's mom gets to choose first. Kate let it slip that her mom and Emma had already chosen, and my mom lost it. She called Kate disrespectful and said she couldn't wear yellow because she was blonde. What? At this point, Owen started laughing at our wedding colours, so I got annoyed. My mom tried to guilt me by saying it wasn't fair and that Emma and my dad could give me more attention and fun, but my mom was a single mom. I laughed and said she wasn't a single mom, she was married. He helped out if he had to, was a great financial provider, and clearly made her happy, so I don't want to hear her whining. My mom snapped at me that she was a single mom, and I'm devaluing that and choosing my cheating dad over her again. She called Kate a witch and said she wouldn't be wearing yellow. Owen blew up and told me to leave his house and get away from his wife. Not the idiot! Single parents do not have someone to share the responsibility of raising a child. As a mother in general, it doesn't sound like she parented you to the best of her abilities, and thankfully, you had another set of parents who cared for you well. Unfortunately, narcissistic parents like these are so common. You're not an idiot for pointing out the truth. Wow, way toxic environment there. So you basically grew up with your dad and stepmom, your mom doesn't get involved in the wedding planning, and now she tries to spoil it and verbally abuses your fiancé? I would say the most important thing is to stand by your soon-to-be wife. You are starting a family and this is your big day. She called Kate a witch. I would ask for an apology for this, and if she doesn't, she's not needed at your wedding. I think she doesn't want to go because people will see how much closer you and Kate are to your family with your dad, which is no wonder, and she doesn't want to be seen as who she is. She decided to play a more remote role in your upbringing, as many divorced fathers do. That was okay for you. You had a loving and caring family. But to now try to rewrite history and call your wife a witch? If you don't put your foot down now, you are off to a bad start in marriage. You are the idiot. I don't know, you seem to gloss right over the fact that your dad had an affair that ended up wrecking their marriage. Sounds like she still harbours some resentment about that and wasn't nearly as cool with it as you insist she was. And I'm guessing that her getting you on the weekends when you were a kid was because she was working during the week. It sounds like she still feels sad and guilty about that too. For several years she was a single mother, so I'm not sure why you felt you needed to challenge her. She probably struggled after her marriage ended far more than you realise. Your dad had another family waiting for him after their divorce. Your mother didn't. Have you ever talked to your mom about her life? I guess not. Lots of people here say she's a narcissist, but is she really? I'm pregnant and I've recently had an almost obsessive urge to reorganize everything in my home. My library is one of the places I felt needed to be changed ASAP, so I asked my husband multiple times if he would help me as my shelves are pretty high up and I have a lot of books that are heavy to move. He kept telling me he would help me later as he was busy. It felt like later was never coming, so I finally decided just to do it myself while my husband was working. My in-laws came to visit us and they walked in on me grabbing books from the higher shelves. They thought what I was doing was dangerous and I could have fallen. My husband also freaked out, telling me to get down and saying I shouldn't carry heavy things. My father-in-law asked me why I hadn't asked somebody else to move my books for me, and I told him I did ask my husband, but he wouldn't help me. He did try to correct them that he said he would help me later, but his parents told him off for not doing it for me. He thinks I made him look bad to his parents and is upset that I didn't correct them because I didn't wait for him to reorganize my library. We kept arguing because I told him he didn't help and that I didn't want his help anymore and that I would finish the library myself. Am I the idiot? Edit, I know I could do it myself. I only asked him because I knew that he, and everybody else, would be upset if I did it myself. He was busy, but not so busy that he couldn't have helped me for an hour. I waited almost 2 weeks. You are the idiot. It sounds like you admit your husband was, in fact, busy and just feel like he should have reprioritized to help you with the library, but it wasn't actually urgent. It was only urgent to you. If you were tired of waiting and wanted to do it yourself, that's fine. But going around and telling his parents it's because he refused to help you was an idiot move. Despite what the general populace seems to think, pregnant women are not invalids, and if you paced yourself and were careful, you were likely completely fine doing the work yourself. Are you suggesting over the course of 2 weeks he couldn't have found an hour or two here or there to help? Unlikely. Timeline matters. He said he'd do it. After 2 weeks, I stopped believing the help was coming. She was totally fine doing the work herself. It was everyone else who was freaking out. She just explained why she was doing it alone. He looked bad because he made himself look bad. Hope he's not the idiot. So what I'm hearing is that she asked him for help, he didn't do it in her preferred time frame, so she did it herself. Her in-laws asked why he wasn't helping and she told them. And somehow, she's the bad guy for not lying so that her husband's parents wouldn't be ashamed of their BS son who can't take a few minutes out of his day for multiple weeks to help his heavily pregnant wife move a couple of books. It's not like she wandered around complaining, she just did the crap she wanted to be done. And when his parents asked why he wasn't helping, she told them why. Agree, I don't think OP went around telling anybody anything. She was being chastised like a child for climbing up a ladder and doing something she wanted to be done. OP, I just tell my husband, I'm not some child to whom you can summarily dismiss a request by responding with some indefinite later and fail to follow up or revisit after numerous requests. Later is not an answer. Can we do it Sunday afternoon is an answer. I, female 29, have a niece, young child, who is biracial. Her dad, my brother, is white and her mom is black. Her mom passed away when she was less than a year old, so it's just my brother watching and raising her. I have a daughter, kindergartner, and my niece and she are best friends. The girls had wanted to do a spa day, so we did an at-home one last night. Well, everything was going well. My daughter and I both had our hair in high ponytails. My niece wanted her hair like ours too. My niece has curly hair. They're more loose curls, but it's still curly. My brother always says not to touch my niece's hair. I thought he was just being dramatic. Well, I started brushing it to put up and it got puffy fast. I didn't know what to do, so I just left it. Well, when my brother came to pick her up, he saw her hair and asked what happened. I explained how niece wanted a high ponytail like us, and I tried to put it up, but that happened. My brother was visibly upset. He said that's why I didn't want you ever to do anything with her hair. You don't realize how hard it is to take care of curly hair. I told him he was just being overdramatic and told him he needed to chill out and it'll be okay. He called me an idiot for not listening to him when he told me not to do something and acting like it wasn't a big deal. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. White people don't know non-white hair. You were told not to touch her hair. It doesn't matter if you think someone is being dramatic. If someone tells you not to do something with their kid, you're automatically the idiot if you do it. That's simple. This has nothing to do with white people don't know non-white hair and everything to do with the fact that OP deliberately ignored the precise instructions of a parent with regard to their child. OP was repeatedly told not to touch her niece's hair. She blatantly disregarded this because she decided she knew better than the child's own father. The colour of one's skin has zero bearing on curly hair. Lots of white people have very curly hair that must be treated in a specific and appropriate manner, including never brushing it. She's not overreacting. They probably have an entire routine that they have to follow for her hair to be acceptable. But you wouldn't have been the idiot if you'd taken steps to remedy what you did and learn about her hair type and texture, but instead, you left it the way you did and shrugged and went, "OMG, you're so dramatic, eye roll." For your niece's sake, please educate yourself.